I'm assuming Bob is ready now. All right. Sam, will you call the roll, please? Oh, sorry. 403.
Trustee Osoilu? Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Here.
Trustee McElroy?
Here.
Trustee Anderson?
Here.
Trustee Crane?
Here.
Trustee Weigand?
Here.
Dr. Smith?
Here.
Alrighty, and now before I call for a motion, Superintendent Smith has a correction, please.
Yeah, before we adopt the agenda, I'd like to make a technical amendment to item C9, Certificate Employees Appointment Reassignment Register. We had the assistant principals going to the wrong sites. So we want to correct that before we adopt the agenda tonight. So Amber Burkhart is going to Ensign Intermediate School. Jeffrey Perry is going to T. Winkle Middle School, as we had told the board and put in our publications. It was just wrong in the item. So a technical amendment before you adopt the agenda, please.
Sounds good.
Oh, yes. So moved with the technical amendment to the agenda.
Second.
Okay, Krista and Carol. All right. Roll call vote, please, Sam.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Weigand?
Yes.
Okay. 6-0. And I believe we have comments. One comment. Oh, Terry, you're here. Wonderful. Hold on one sec. Trustee Pearson, can you read the?
This is an opportunity for the public to address the board regarding items on the closed session agenda only. Comments on closed session agenda items are limited to 3 minutes per comment, up to 20 minutes per topic. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another person.
Thank you. Mr. Walsh.
Hello, my name is Terry Welsh. I'm president of the Coastal Corridor Alliance, and as always, it's a real honor and pleasure to speak before you all. And I thought I'd say a few words about vernal pools. Now, most of you know that I'm associated with Randall Preserve and have been so for a long time, 27 years to be exact. I like to say when I first started working on Randall Preserve, then known as Banning Ranch, Bill Clinton was president. And when I started, I didn't know what a vernal pool was, but over the years, I've come to understand them better. And in the very simplest explanation, a vernal pool is a pond that is dry for most of the year, sometimes years on end. But when you have a period of heavy and sustained and intense rains, the vernal pool will fill with water and it will remain ponded for several weeks. And to have a vernal pool, you need a flat surface. Obviously, you don't find them on the sides of mountains, but here we are on a coastal mesa. And another thing you need is you need semi-impermeable soil. If you have real porous soil, the water just gets sucked into the earth. But here we have semi-impermeable soil. If you ever dug in your backyard, you know there's a lot of clay around here, and clay holds water. Now, where you find one vernal pool, you're likely to find others, and that's called a vernal pool complex. And there's a vernal pool complex on Fairview Park, and there's another one on Randall Preserve. Now, vernal pools are not just mere puddles of water. They are ecosystems in themselves, and they're part of the larger ecosystem, and they have all kinds of amazing plants and animals within them. But perhaps the most spectacular is the fairy shrimp. And these are little tiny shrimp, about a ½ inch long. And when you get that area, a time of sustained ponding, these eggs will hatch, and fairy shrimp will swim around in the vernal pool for a few weeks, and they'll go through a reproductive cycle, and the females will lay their eggs, and they'll settle in the mud, and there they will become encased for another year, sometimes several years. Now, there's an endangered fairy shrimp called the San Diego fairy shrimp, and you can find it in the vernal pools on Fairview Park, and you can find it in the vernal pools on Randall Preserve. Now, interestingly, the vernal pools at Randall Preserve, most of them that have the San Diego fairy shrimp, there's about 7 or 8 of them, are very close to the school property, kind of right around just on the other side of the fence. And the federal government has also declared an area of critical habitat for the San Diego fairy shrimp. It's 14 acres. Most of it's on Randall Preserve. but some of it does extend onto the school district property. And anyway, I have so much more to say, and there's so little time, so I'll come back another time. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Welsh. All righty. We are moving into closed session. Item number A, conference with real property negotiators. B, public employee evaluation superintendent. C, conference with labor negotiator. D, public employee discipline, dismissal, and release. We will return to open session at 6 p.m. It's 4:08.
Okay, call to order, calling the meeting to order at 6:13. A moment of reflection, pledge of allegiance led by trustee Wagon.
I think I'll accept that question and say yes. Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
Okay, adoption of the minutes, do we have a motion?
So moved. Yeah.
Second, go ahead, so moved.
Moved. Second.
Moved by trustee Murphy, second by trustee Pearson. And Sam, roll call?
Trustee Osoilu?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yes.
And now we'll move to item 10, the introduction of new staff.
Yes,
Counselor Torres?
it's an exciting evening tonight because we have today in front of us 3 outstanding professionals that we're going to introduce who are taking new positions in our district. So I would love to start off with Mrs. Cindy Pedroso. Come on up, our new principal of T. Winkle Middle School. It is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Pedroso, who's the new principal at T. Winkle. And my secondary team, when they heard she was getting appointed, they said, "Carrie, that's genius." And I said, "I wish I could take credit for it," but everyone had appreciated the work she's been doing in the zone. And she brings over 25 years of educational experience, most recently at Pomona Elementary since 2019. And she did a lot of work there while she was at Pomona, and then most recently helped us transition that site into an early learning site. So it's been a tremendous opportunity for her to have been able to dig her heels in over in the Estancia zone. Additionally, she is bicultural and fluent in Spanish, which is a huge value to our community at T. Winkle. She's a collaborative leader who builds strong partnerships with families and colleagues to help every student thrive. So welcome to T. Winkle.
This is the awkward part. Thank you so much for the kind words and introduction. It's kind of awkward to know where to stand and who to look at. First of all, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here at the board, our president, our trustees, our superintendent, cabinet, and our guests, and my beautiful children that are sitting back there. I'm honored to continue this journey in Newport-Mesa after 7 years. I'm excited about this new step and opportunity to continue, I think, serving the same community in a different location. I'm super honored to continue all of the work that's already happening at T. Winkle and the wonderful experiences that are there for kids. And I'm really thrilled to join the secondary team in this new adventure, even though my elementary friends are not speaking to me currently.
Yeah. Too bad, so sad.
But thank you.
Thank you. Additionally, this evening, we have present with us our new principal of Newport Harbor High School, Dr. Kevin Astor. Come on up. I'd like to welcome Dr. Astor to NMUSD as our new principal at Newport Harbor High School. He has more than 30 years of educational experience, and a significant number of those spent within the high school principalship, which was of huge value to us as we sought a principal to take over Newport Harbor who could definitely use that experience and all the different challenges that you face and all the different opportunities that you've had. Most recently, he came to us from Orange Unified and spent some time in Irvine at University High School as well. Throughout his career, he has championed instructional excellence, collaborative leadership, and continued school improvement. Also, bonus, fluent in Spanish, and he has worked with many diverse communities. Dr. Astor is known for his approachable leadership style and his commitment to building a school culture rooted in trust and open communication. He values strong partnerships with students, families, and staff, and the community to support success and create meaningful learning experiences. We are so excited to welcome you to the Saylor family. Anchor down.
Thank you. Man, if I can live up to that, we're going to be in great shape. I want to start by extending a heartfelt thank you to Dr. Smith, to Cabinet, to the board for just giving me the opportunity for this appointment. I can't be more excited than, to take over at a school with such a vibrant and rich culture and history. Now, my family's not with me tonight. They're currently hosting about 80 middle schoolers from our church at our house. So I also need to thank you for inviting me here tonight so that I can make my way slowly back to my house. Like I said, Newport Harbor, obviously just shy of its 100-year mark, has a complex, a rich, a vibrant history and culture. And I'm really excited about the initial work to kind of unpack all of that and really understand all of the unique elements that make Harbor an exceptional school community. Since starting in July, I've had the chance to meet with my administrative team, the office staff, our custodial team, 12 members of the leadership team. In addition, I've had the opportunity to sit down with leaders from both the Harbor Educational Foundation and our Alumni Association, and have really been pretty overwhelmed with the caliber of folks on all levels. The staff members are showing themselves to be caring, creative, dedicated, and really passionate about serving the community. So thank you again for the opportunity. I am beyond thrilled to come alongside and join this community. So thank you.
Thank you. And our final introduction tonight is a very familiar face who now gets to sit in the room with us every board meeting in the back row with the rest of our amazing directors, and that's Dr. Sean Bolton. Come on up. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Bolton in his new role of as Director of Facilities, Athletics, and Performing Arts Operations. If you know anything about Dr. Bolton and his many years here in the district, he has two passions, and those both live in facilities and in the performing arts. And so this is absolutely perfect, as he has overseen many outstanding projects over at Newport Harbor High School. He has been a valued member of our family here for many years, and most recently, of course, 13 years of high school principalship. During his tenure, he has successfully led the district's largest high school while supporting academics, athletics, performing arts, and everything else that happens at Newport Harbor. Known for his collaborative leadership as well, Dr. Bolton brings extensive experience in facilities, event management, and creating opportunities that enhance the student experience. His deep knowledge of our district and commitment to excellence will make him exceptionally well suited for this new role. So we are excited to congratulate you and thank you for taking the position.
Thank you, Dr. Torres, and President Ursulou, members of the board, Dr. Smith, Executive Cabinet, and distinguished guests. Thank you for the opportunity, the privilege of continuing the service for Newport-Mesa Unified School District. I came here as a teacher at Ensign in 1999. I left for 7 years around 2006, came back in 2013, and got the privilege of leading a great high school. And just seeing the evolution of the district, the journey of the district, and where it is today, it's exciting to be here. It's in a phenomenal place because of the leadership structure, the leadership passion, and the intentionality. And just to add value to that and support where I can is another privilege. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the privilege of serving. And it's going to be hard not saying "Go Sailors" all the time. So you can say it, yeah. For one last time, as always, go Sailors, but looking forward to the opportunity and the journey in this role. So thank you very much.
Great. Next up, we have community input on non-agendized items. Clerk Pearson, can you read the?
This is an opportunity for the public to address the board regarding items not on the regular meeting agenda. Comments on non-agenda topics are limited to 3 minutes per comment, up to 20 minutes per topic. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another person. By order of the Brown Act, Section 54954.2, the board will take no action nor have any discussion on non-agendized items. The superintendent may provide clarification during superintendent's comments.
Great. First up, we have Pat Burns.
And now I can see everybody. Hello, welcome, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm the founder of the STEAM Race to Space Reading Challenge. Before I dig into that in that much time, I want to say by show of hands, how many of you believe a student having one-on-one time with an astronaut could be inspirational? Yeah, okay, that's what we do. So the STEAM Race to Space Reading Challenge is TK through 12th grade throughout Orange County, no charge to students, no charge to schools, supported by OCDE, Blue Origin, JPL NASA. I have so many partners that I want my district, Newport-Mesa, my district, to be 100% on board. And Dr. Smith, I'm counting on you to make that happen. And we have handouts. I have save the date cards. I have 2 flyers and bookmarks for you all. The other opportunity is on September 19th, we are hosting one of Blue Origin's astronauts. Her name is Amy Jorge Morano, and she's the first teacher to go up in the Blue Origin space shuttle. She's bilingual. Actually, English is her second language. We're doing September 19th. There's a flyer on this. She's doing an all Spanish version at 11:30 and an all English version at 2 o'clock at OCDE headquarters, free of course. The whole purpose of why we do this is to help kids read books that in the story is science, technology, engineering, and math. So we're secretly getting them excited. They win digital prizes, physical prizes, and experiential prizes. For instance, a Zoom call with astronaut Susan Kilrain, one of only 3 female astronauts to fly the shuttle. She's going to be talking to the kids one-on-one. They get to ask whatever they want. Every year they get to speak with an astronaut, so it's very cool and they love it. Well, first year we took them to NASA JPL. This year we're taking them to an animatronics factory in Redlands, and they just get pumped about these experiences. My goal is that they can grow up to have careers that are high-paying jobs that will help the planet and help themselves and help their family. I have a few seconds. Any questions? Do I have your support? Yes, okay. Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate the opportunity, and really thank you for your service.
Thank you so much, Ms. Burns. Next up, we have Vanessa Smith.
Good evening to the board, the cabinet, the community members, and the administration. I'm Vanessa Smith. I'm a Newport-Mesa mom of 3 kids who attend Anderson Elementary, CDM Middle School, and CDM High School. I've served as PTA president at Anderson, currently serve as executive vice president of Anderson's PTA. I'm a member of the CDM PTA. I participate in Harbor Council and ZOPAC meetings, and like many parents, I've become deeply concerned about bicycle and e-bike safety. I want to thank this board and our district administration, especially Dr. Torres. The board's vision and commitment to our students' safety and the district's development of a bike safety program to support that vision demonstrates true leadership. As a parent, I appreciate that. Thank you. I am not only a mom and an active volunteer, I'm also the founder of Ride Beacon, which is a bicycle safety platform that I'm about to discuss. I created Ride Beacon because I wasn't satisfied with simply worrying about my own children, but I wanted to help create a better long-term solution for all families. The current CHP course provides an important foundation for all of our riders, but I'd like you to consider one question. If one student struggles with speed, another one with unsafe parking, and another one with helmet use, why should every student receive that exact same lesson only once? That's where I believe we have an opportunity. Imagine if bicycle safety didn't end after one online course. Instead, imagine a system that continued teaching students throughout the year, a system that involved parents, allowed authorized school staff to demonstrate and document unsafe riding or parking, and one that automatically assigned additional safety education based on the student's actual behavior. That is what Ride Beacon was designed to do. Students complete their education appropriate for the type of bicycle that they ride, and each registered bicycle receives a unique Ride Beacon badge with its own QR code. If a student repeatedly parks unsafely, rides recklessly on campus, or violates school bicycle rules, whatever those are, authorized staff can scan the badge and document the incident. Ride Beacon then notifies the parent and assigns additional education focused on that specific behavior. Instead of treating every student the same, the education becomes personalized, continuous, and connected to real-world behavior. Most importantly, Ride Beacon gives busy parents and busy school staff a frictionless way to stay informed and work together so that each child receives the education and accountability they need without anyone having to constantly chase information. We all know that simply telling kids no rarely changes behavior. The real opportunity isn't creating fewer riders, it's creating safer riders. I hope you'll consider Ride Beacon as a possibility to build on the foundation both the board and the administration have already created, because every Newport family wants the same thing, for our children to leave school in the morning and come home safely in the afternoon. Thanks for your time. Oh, perfect.
Thank you. Next up is Gavin Matazzari.
Hello, Superintendent Smith, Board President Ursulu, Vice President Murphy, and Board Trustees. My name is Gavin Matazzari, and I'm the incoming Senior Class President at Newport Harbor High School, and I'm speaking to you today about an opportunity to improve school safety in the district's high schools. In recent years, the opioid crisis has reached the teenage populations in new ways never seen before. Social media and other online platforms have made dangerous fentanyl-laced drugs more accessible than ever. Fentanyl accounted for nearly 76% of all adolescent drug fatalities in 2023. Just a single dose can prove to be fatal. This past year, I spearheaded an initiative to bring naloxone to Newport Harbor in 6 installation sites around campus. I would first like to thank Dr. Bolton for supporting me in this process. I would also like to thank Superintendent Smith and Board Trustee Ms. McElroy for connecting me with the Student Services team to help bring this idea throughout the district. I'd also like to thank Dr. Pina and Ms. Coley in the Student Services Department for helping move things forward. I'm here today to propose that all 9th through 12th grade schools in the district include publicly accessible naloxone cases in several locations in each campus. By placing Narcan in visible and publicly accessible locations throughout high schools, students and faculty alike are equipped with a life-saving tool that is not only easy to use, but is also harmless if administered incorrectly to someone who is not undergoing an overdose. It is clear that this is a crisis and a widespread epidemic. I urge you to support my initiative to prevent any overdoses from reaching our school district. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I hope to work with you in the future on this project. I also have, for the board, some photos and additional information that I hope to give. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Rudy Kraus.
Hi. Let's not pretend that we don't understand or you don't understand how multiculturalism, as it is expressed by you in your own words, and I'm going to relate to, is not related to my assertion about the Muslim invasion of Europe and the Muslim takeover of the United States. This is an ideological war. This is, we're being taken over. Look at Europe. Have you done your homework since the last time and done your homework and seen what's happening in Europe? All of Europe is uprising against the Muslims that they flooded into the countries and are taking over the country. This is because Islam is not compatible with the West. Your statement, multiculturalism is our greatest strength, diversity is our greatest strength, is not true. You have to clarify. You cannot make that statement anymore. You have to clarify and say, multiculturalism with assimilation is our greatest strength. To state it otherwise is a lie. Multiculturalism is our greatest strength is a lie. That is our greatest weakness. Without assimilation, it is our greatest weakness. And it's not by chance that this statement comes to you. It started in 2010 when Obama proposed to the UK and all of Europe to Muslimize all of Europe. Now it's only 16 years later, and we see Europe has been taken over. All 44 European nations will become Muslim. Did you see the Murdoch report that came out from the UK? Last week, 256,000 British white girls were documented raped. And that's a small fraction. It's a tenth, because they're all afraid by Muslim rape gangs. They're afraid. The girls are all afraid to say something because they're afraid to be called racist, and it's Islamophobia. So the country is all laid down for the Muslim takeover. Did you see the beheading in Belfast? You see all the churches burning? That's happening here in the United States. It's going to happen. It's on a slight scale. You have to change your perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we'll continue with our business. Superintendent comments, number 14.
I'm bummed our STEAM folks left. I was going to, pseudo commit, but make sure that Dr. Sir got the information. This school board, I'll take a chance to brag about them, have been leaning into reading, battle the books, the sciences, the work that we've done on all of our elementary campuses to really reinforce science instruction. I mean, she's really speaking our language here, and so we'll make sure that our team reaches out. I know she mentioned some flyers as well. We'll see what we can do to Peach Jar, and that's back there, and help out in that regard. Exciting stuff. I wanted to be an astronaut, and then I rode the zipper at the county fair. It's that one ride that flips around. One ride, and I'm like, nah, it's not for me. Can't do it. But for those kids that can handle the zipper, let's get them reading science fiction, science, and pursuing those careers in all seriousness. eBag safety app, Vanessa, I'm not surprised she's here. She hit me up at 2, 3, 5, 10 meetings about this idea. And I think there's some really, really great thinking behind this. I know that it's motivated by really, really good intentions. We're grateful that we have brilliant students. I'll speak to that in a second, and family members, community members that are saying it's not just enough to care, we've got to do something about it. And I think there's some great applications in this app, if you will, for schools and for families, quite honestly, because I think what the board has demonstrated is, there's a role for schools and what we do, and we can help parents with their role. We do that often. And then there's this part where we've got to have our allies and the families doing their part. And I think this app has applications for both. And so I'm excited to see. I know that, Dr. Torres has already given some feedback about how we might use this and how it could even be something where there's an option for families to use and schools to use. And so it's exciting, and good for you for branding it as well. And then I mentioned great students. Gavin, it was great to meet him electronically and to share this passion and what he'd done at Harbor. And so we've gotten this in front of our team so they can make sure that anything we can do to provide greater safety enhancement at our schools, all of our schools. And and I would just say that we probably have to look even beyond 9 to 12, quite honestly, because these things introduce either intentionally or unintentionally, unfortunately, at much younger ages. And so anything we can do to keep all of our kids safe, I know this board supports that, and our team will look into it. And then, I'll just say, because students are watching, that, we love you for who you are, your uniqueness. You are beautiful. We celebrate you. We celebrate where you come from, where you are. Our diversity is our strength. I'll double down on that. That is the truth. We visit campuses. I remember going to Anderson and seeing them do this this evening where they share where they're from, and they brought their foods and their music. They were all eating different foods, listening to different music, one school, right? That's the truth. And that's what we're about in the school district. So, yeah, let me double down again. Our diversity is our strength. I'm grateful for the diversity of this district. I wouldn't be here if it were otherwise. I lean into this district for that reason. So, yep, recorded.
Duly noted. On to item 15, community input on agendized items. Are there any? Okay, Clerk Pearson.
This is an opportunity for the public to address the board regarding items on the regular meeting agenda. Comments on agenda items are limited to 3 minutes per comment, up to 20 minutes per topic. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another person. Speaker cards for items on the discussion action calendar may be held until that item is considered by the board if the speaker prefers.
First up, Chelsea Cody Waters. Oh.
Hold the item.
She wants to wait until. Okay. Then we will move to the consent calendar. Do we have a motion to approve?
Carol.
I believe Trustee Crane wanted.
You guys are an amazing team. Thank you for the reminder. President Ersoylu, since I sit on the board of directors of Save Our Youth, I would like to recuse myself from item 16A10, which states to approve the First Amendment to lease agreement between Save Our Youth Center and Newport-Mesa Unified School District at the Best Center.
Okay.
Just wanting to recuse myself from that particular item.
Duly noted. And also, I wanted to mention item B18, approve the MOU between CHIOC and Newport Mesa. I serve on their strategic advisory body, as does Trustee Murphy. But that's a no-cost contract, so I don't think we have to recuse ourselves because there's no associated costs, but just FYI, public. All right, so do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Wygant and Trustee Pearson. And roll call vote, Sam?
Trustee Ursulou?
Yeah, yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Wyden?
Yes.
Great. Now with that, we will move to item 17, discussion action. 17A is approve credential waiver for a certificated employee. Ms. Nip.
Absolutely, thank you. So this evening, we have a credential waiver for a teacher at Monte Vista High School for the course of secondary driver's education. We bring this one up every year, but as you may remember, there's not currently a program available for this credential. However, should one become available, this teacher will go ahead and seek admittance into that program. So we recommend approving the waiver for secondary driver's ed.
So moved.
So
Second.
moved by Trustee Crane and second Trustee Wygant. Roll call vote, Sam?
Trustee Ursulou?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Wyden?
Yes. Okay, and with that, we'll move to 17B, approve the Newport-Mesa Unified School District Strategic Plan for 2026 to 2031. Do we have the comment first?
Yes.
Okay, so Ms. Chelsea Cody Waters, if you'd like to speak now.
Good evening. My name is Chelsea Cody Waters, and I am a parent and a school site council member in the district. I wanted to speak today on the strategic plan. I think it's really great that a lot of parent and student voices came together to give feedback in real time about issues facing our school community today, which will be used to guide decisions for the upcoming years. As a school site council member, PTA parent, and avid fan of watching school board meetings, I have seen the need for two of the resources noted in this plan: equitable allocation of funding and expertise, and systems to ensure sites are aligned in achieving the goals set forth in the plan. I am excited to see that the plan appropriately addresses the need to equitably allocate resources, which are defined as not strictly monetary, but also includes time and talent, which is a wide clarification. However, there's no definition of equity in the document or metric, or even a semblance of a framework for a metric to measure equity that can guide future decisions in the area. And I am hopeful that equity will be defined in the future, as it seems like a really important item for this body to be aligned on. I would also encourage this team to look at existing systems in place intended to produce some of these outcomes, of which there are many: school site council, parent advisory committees, and LCAP, to just name a few, and to see where they can be supported to best fulfill their original intention, much of which also supports the goals in this strategic plan. I have spoken to other parents on a few school site councils in our district, and I know that it is often being implemented as a function of compliance rather than a vehicle for engagement. In addition, it is clear the district needs systems that reach across school sites to ensure equitable allocation of resources and alignment on the priorities listed in the master plan. However, I would ask that some attention be paid to ensuring that we're not creating more boxes for parents, community members, and staff to check, but creating a culture where real change toward these goals can be achieved. Creating a system is one professional skill. Stewardship of the system over time, monitoring whether it's working, adjusting it, and keeping it alive, is a different one that deserves a role within the district. With a well-intended system, a culture of understanding the goal of each system, and clear training and resources to oversee implementation, everyone will be able to pull in the same direction. To summarize, this strategic plan has made great strides in defining the goals important to all of our families and staff, and the duty to carry it forward will require a cultural and empowered staff that can steward the process. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do we have to have a discussion first or motion? Any questions first, or do we motion to approve it?
Yeah, so I'll introduce the item just to keep this in front of the community. We've been working on this for a little over a year, bringing the community in, giving feedback to the board, going back to the community, back to the board. At our last meeting with our consultants here, they went through some of the language with you. Trustees had some feedback on the language. They've incorporated that. And so now we bring that back for your consideration. I would just say, in reference to Ms. Cody Waters, because it is important how we then operationalize this. And so this is a good segue for the folks watching, that the board will establish what the strategic plan is. Then staff will work on strategic actions that we'll bring before the board with metrics, with accountability, with definitions for their consideration. And the board will say, yeah, that did or didn't meet our mark. And then we'll be rethinking and reworking, recalibrating. And certainly with regard to equity, we took great pains years ago to de-weaponize that word, right? So that it could be discussed anywhere. We talk about equity for us being students get what they need, when they need it, where they need it, and when they need more, they get more. That's what this board does. And so some of these strategic actions, really all of them, will have metrics for how do we determine need. So that's how we'll be accountable for this system that we're going to build for you. But I thought that was an important comment. I want to make sure that the public knows that whatever you do tonight, then we'll take that and get to work with some strategic actions that will be measurable.
Great. Any other questions, discussion items before a motion? Oh, you're there. Trustee Anderson, and then Trustee Wygant.
Thank you. When I was looking through this, there were a few things that stood out to me slightly differently than they had in the previous readings, and I wasn't sure if we were able to make some tweaks. At the bottom of the first page under Portrait of a Graduate, the last one, Collaborators, an item that I really like. There's a little bit of redundancy where problem solved is used twice. And so I was wondering if we could consider changing that rather than it saying NMUSD graduates eagerly and respectfully seek others' viewpoints to problem solve, innovate, and create. They question and problem solve with respect and empathy for others. I was wondering if we can either change the first part to say, eagerly and respectfully seek others' viewpoints to learn, listen, innovate, and create, or to learn, innovate, and create, but something slightly different there that's more responsive. And then the next part, they question and problem solve with respect and empathy.
Yes, so to change that first sentence, so everybody caught that, NMUSD graduates respectfully seek others' viewpoints to learn, innovate, and create. The question and problem solve with respect and empathy, et cetera. That way, the problem solving is only in there once. Is everyone okay with that? Okay, perfect. Was there another?
Yes, just a small one that stood out to me this time. On the very last page, under resources, the very last bullet, under areas of focus, we have fundraising, and I think maybe a more appropriate word would be fund development. I think fundraising is kind of what we do with PTAs. It's a very finite, specialized type of word, whereas fund development is something more, I think, what we are trying to do, which includes our budget, includes community partners, is much more of a holistic system. That's an area of focus rather than just fundraising.
And it's a more broad term that's often used in nonprofit land to be more comprehensive than just fundraising is kind of an older word. Fund development is what people call it now. Are folks comfortable with that change?
Well,
Fund
to
development.
me, it sounds like it's a specific fund development, instead of a general fundraising.
That's not how it's used, but if that's
I mean,
the
does that-
perception
I mean,
that people have.
It's not a big deal to
We're
me.
not in that world, so yeah, I didn't know that term.
Fund
but that's
development's
fine,
like
yeah.
the broader, more all-encompassing way of fundraising. Fundraising in many different ways, from an individual, from a grant, from a this, from a that, from a city partnership, like whatever gets you the funds. It's called fund development.
So if we're going to change it, would you want then to wordsmith the first sentence up on top where it says all resources including time, talent, and funding development, or just keep it
No,
as
no,
funding?
it would just be
that's
funding. It
fine.
would still be
Okay.
funding.
All right.
That one would just stay the same.
That's small change
Okay.
to fund development that's more encompassing.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Is everyone okay with that? It's just a more modern way to say it.
Yeah.
But, okay, all right. So with that, any other, trustee Wygand, you had your button?
Oh, no, I just wanted to say thank you for updating this. I know it was pretty harsh on the first draft, so our consultants aren't here, but I want to say thank you. I would definitely, as I look at our promise, it is strong, but also not taking not leaving out the fact that we want to be empathetic, but that we are strong forward thinkers and we develop our students for what lies ahead in their future. So I just want to say thank you. I appreciate them listening to us and providing that feedback. And I'm very happy with where we landed. So thank you.
Great. Any other comments, questions before we move to approve?
Just one more thing to follow up actually on the speaker, because I had heard that from a different constituent as well. While we're putting together this plan, and this will go forward as our key drivers for the next few years, I believe 5 years, the actual execution and measurement of it is also tied into the superintendent's goals, which is also tied into our staff. And so that's where the next iterations will be communicated more fully. And that's where the community can say, under belonging, this is something we need to work on at my specific site, or this is something that I'm seeing the district is excelling. It really gives us kind of those file folders for us to organize as an organization and to grow how we manage things. So I just wanted to add that because I think that's important for the community to know that where the next steps go.
Do we get a motion? Oh, trustee Crane?
Trustee Anderson, are you, so do you want this tied to the superintendent evaluation language? Is that what you said, or?
Yes, that's what, in some ways it will be, yes.
Like what we did earlier in closed, we just changed the document to have that language?
Yes, as Dr.
Okay.
Smith shared.
Got it.
Okay, any other comments before we move to approve the document? Anyone want to make a motion?
Well, I guess I have a question. If she has changes that she wants to make, are we making the changes,
Yeah,
or are we
so
just?
it would be a motion with the edits of these two.
What are the edits that?
Okay, with the removal of the word problem.
No, I got that part. The last one.
It
wasn't an edit.
Fund
It was.
development.
It was a
Those were the
com-
only changes.
It was a comment that. So we're not listing anything. Okay.
Nope.
Okay, that's what I wanted to comment.
Yeah, so for the public, part of my evaluation are the annual goals, and the board and I negotiate those. They're not part of a document per se. But what our practice has been is we look at the board goals. Now these are the goals, and we'll agree on a discrete set of those. And so I believe one of the things Ashley, or Trustee Anderson rather, was saying was there is accountability here, and that they're going to be making sure that I'm doing what I say I'm going to do and communicating with the public, and the board has a very important role in that regard. So we're going to make this meaningful. Yeah.
Okay, so I move to approve the draft, well, I guess it'll then become the final, right? To approve the Porter Graduate Strategic Plan as edited tonight.
Second?
Okay, moved by Trustee Crane, second by Anderson, and Sam, roll call.
Trustee Ursulou?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Weigand?
Yes.
All right, and now we move to 17C, the first reading of modifications to board policy. Dr. Torres.
Good evening, everyone. We have several board policies for you this evening. Our board policy committee met late last week to review 4 policies that you have in front of you tonight. So what I'll do this evening is pull one up at a time, and then we will see if anybody has any questions or comments, and then we can move through those, if that works for everyone. The screen's not on? Let me see here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to start with communication with the public, Board Policy 1100. This is a policy that was revised just because we had some additional revisions that were suggested by CSBA. And this policy is meant to demonstrate how the superintendent and designees, so basically all of Dr. Smith and his employees and team, communicate with the public. Are there any questions or comments? Okay. If there,
Oh, Trustee Anderson?
Thanks. My question with all of them, just for context.
Sure.
Are there, sometimes we change them for legal purposes, sometimes we change them for operational purposes? Are they all under the same purpose? Can you give us a
No.
little more context, please?
yeah, sure. So for 1100, you're looking at an update that was suggested our last time that we updated our communications policy is when we did the global update. There are some new revisions that are in CSBA that were suggested. For 9150, which we'll get to eventually, is the student board member policy. That was a discussion at the second half of last year where the board had a lot of dialogue over student board members. We did tremendous work on that policy in the spring, and so we are just bringing forward those edits that were discussed last spring as we went through that cycle of appointing student board members. And then for policy 1114, district-sponsored social media. Again, this was last revised during our global update in 2024. However, there were some suggested revisions from CSBA that we thought were appropriate. Social media and communication are exceptionally important. Social media is a vehicle for communication, and we know that this board prioritizes communication. So we wanted to make sure we had the most updated policy in front of us tonight. And then finally, this one is different, Trustee Anderson, and so we have Board Policy 5148.3, which is preschool and early childhood education. There was legislation that altered and changed this policy, significant revisions. And so tonight you're adopting basically a whole new policy, meaning that there were many revisions. So to go through and do the strikeouts would have been too great probably for us to visually appreciate. So what we did is we went ahead and just adopted the brand new version, and our board policy committee went through that and ensured that that met the standard for the board.
Thank you.
Okay. I have Claire here with me just in case there are any comments or changes. So again, for BP 1114, social media, just highlighting in blue those changes, and the red, of course, is the strikeout. And preschool childhood education, as you heard me comment, Kathleen, Larry, and I worked through this, and this is a wholesale change, so you'll see the whole thing is blue. Lots and lots of changes coming out of our state legislator.
The only thing I had a question about
Yes.
on the preschool one
Mm-hmm.
is some of the codes are in parentheses, some of them are not in parentheses. So just, I think we probably want to formalize those.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
them the same.
So you're seeing these here. Okay, we can do that.
Oftentimes, like, they're at the end because then it gets, like, it's harder to read it. We usually put them at the end in the past.
Okay.
I don't know, I just,
We can review for that.
not
I-
anything substantive.
I think there's some that we reference. It says, like, say if we go into district preschool programs, and if you go down to the second paragraph under where it says district preschool programs, where it's bolded, scroll up a bit. Or sorry, down, I don't know. It's in the first page of the preschool program, sorry, whatever that is. Okay, so district preschool programs, and then go to the second paragraph of that one. It's just a one sentence. And that sentence, we say licensure requirements pursuant to 22 CC,
Yeah.
that. So I think there's a lot of places, Trustee Anderson, where we like reference in pursuant to whatever, and then we just kind of put it outside, like in the second or the third paragraph underneath. We say specified in that policy number, and then we put it in parentheses to just as like a reference in the back. So is that kind of what you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, it's throughout. It makes it harder to read, I think, for somebody specifically if a parent is looking for the first time and trying to understand what our policy is. To me, it was just a comment about streamlining it a little bit and either making like a 1 or 2 and then putting that at the end as we have done in the past, just for easier understanding.
Okay.
Just recommending it.
Okay. We can go through that policy and take a look at it and make sure that it flows better in regards to those California Code of Regulations citations.
Isn't this uniform across all of our policies where we put that reference next to the sentence? Because then we'd have to change all of our.
Well, I think what we need to look at is what Trustee Anderson is saying, that sometimes they're in parentheses at the end because that's how it's cited. And then there are other parts where it's in the text. And so it may read a little clunky. We will always have citations and the notes at the very end. So if you go to the very, very end of our policies, we have the notes, which is a really long, sorry about this. I'm probably going to drive your eyes crazy, but you'll see that we always have these at the end. So what we'd be doing is we would be going through this policy to ensure that perhaps those places where they're not in parentheses, do we need them there? Or can we just go ahead and rely on the parentheses themselves? So I think that's probably our best option. Any questions, any other questions about that one?
I have just one tiny small one.
Yes,
While we're doing that,
sure.
to just move the staffing heading so it's at the top rather than kind of floating off.
So move it down.
Just
And that what we need to do while we're here is go ahead and we'll have to go through the document and then put them in parentheses. Okay? All right, and then our student board member policy, which is bylaw 9150. Again, our board came together last year, talked a lot about this process, wanted to ensure that we were following regulations and how we selected, how the schools selected their student board members. So in front of you tonight, you do have that modified policy, as well as we have removed a very antiquated exhibit that also existed from the yonder years that no longer is relevant because the words that were written within the exhibit are now within the policy. Okay.
And then could you just highlight for us the substantial change?
Sure.
Or just someone from the policy?
Be happy to.
Want to about?
Yeah, so student board members, our process in the past had been that our schools had recommended students and our board, in short, would interview our students. And we'd make selections from that process. And what we know now is that elections of student board members will be selected by a vote of their student body when the candidate attends, where the candidate attends school. So what that means is that our school sites, the student body there, their ASB, will vote in a student board member. Just like our trusted officials here, our trustees are elected in, so will our students. And so that's outlined now in this policy. We also outlined that the district will have one student board member for each site, that will be a term of 1 year. And additionally important to the conversation is that we wanted to ensure that there was language around alternate student board members in case anybody wasn't fulfilling a duty. So if we had a student who was not attending or not participating, if the board chose, we could provide an alternate as well. And then a vacancy, if something were to become vacant, just like a trustee seat, if somebody were to leave our district, a student was separated from their school, that we'd need to have a process because that would be a vacancy. And so we have accommodations for that as well. And then a lot of our trustees have shared the concern over our alternative education sites, that at times we haven't been able to get a student board member. And because Back Bay High School graduates students every quarter, sometimes we lose them. So you'll see that their accommodations may be made for alternative education sites because we know that they're a special carve-out for those students. So those are the material changes for that policy.
I just wanted to comment that this process, this policy was way overdue to be updated, and I'm just thrilled to see that we finally have a codified policy for this. And I do like the fact that we are making sure that we are putting the onus of representation on the school sites versus the school board member, the board members. So I'm very excited about that.
I know our schools appreciate the clarity.
Any other questions, comments? Okay.
Thank you for putting it forward.
So should we make a motion to approve the
Are these
first
final
reading?
drafts or?
This is a first draft, so
Okay.
your options are send it back for revisions, come back in public for a second read. You can always waive the second read and adopt if you feel like
They're in a good space.
they're at a good place and the board's in agreement. One of them, there were recommended revisions. I would say that we'd probably need to go back and look at board policies throughout our manual and see how we handle in-text citations versus parenthetical citations. Because to change this one would then mean so I think we want to be consistent, and I don't know what that looks like. We'd have to go back and look at it. So if that's one that we need to investigate, then we would certainly need to bring that one back. But again, you always have the ability to waive a second reading and adopt at first reading.
Is that something that maybe the policy committee can I don't, it's, I mean, there's a ton of policy, so I'm not sure how, I think with, yeah, I think that's more of a search and find and fix kind of thing. I don't know if that's, just for this one policy. I don't know what your thought is.
Yeah, so of course, Dr. Smith will be able to tell me if I'm wrong at this point. This is a policy that is important. This one is our preschool policy, so it is in legislation, and we were hoping to have this approved by July 1, which is now because it's our first board meeting. We would be able to go back in and look at those parentheses to see if they've been used appropriately in the policy. It's not a material change. However, I respect the opinion of the board. If that's something that they feel would be material, that we could take it back. But otherwise, what our work would be is to go back and check that.
I feel comfortable.
Yeah, I think.
I
felt
move to
comfortable
waive
too.
the second reading.
Okay,
So let's hear from the
We need
people
to make
that
a
did their
motion.
button, trustee Anderson and then trustee McElroy.
Oh, I said what I.
Thank you. Whenever there's more than one policy and they're on very diverse topics, I am not in favor of approving them all in one motion ever. So that's not new today. I am comfortable approving the 4. I think I have some additional questions about the early childhood one, so I would like to hold that one for a second reading, but the other ones are fine. That is my opinion.
But is that the one you need to move forward?
Yeah.
Well, but it's already
Do you
delayed.
have any material concerns with the childhood one?
There are a couple of things that came to me from some of our preschool teachers. Yes.
Then could they be like edited, discussed now, and then we could go
Help 'em
forward?
out
Because that's the time. That seems to be the time sensitive one for
This was new information to the people that reached out to me. So there were already had plans, were not able to be here. To me, it was something that is important to have a second conversation about. The others, no. For me, I'm more comfortable. I'm one of 7, so I'm just bringing forward what I've heard from some of our teachers and some concern.
And I will share that Kathleen Larry will be presenting the new policy and any of its impacts to the staff. This has been something that's been discussed and kind of seeded along the way. This policy revision came to us probably in like May or June, meaning that we actually got the revised policy and the packet from the state to take a look at that. So I wouldn't be surprised to learn that a lot of our preschool professionals haven't been onboarded to the policy or unfamiliar with some of the language because we haven't had that opportunity to have that dialogue with them. Being that this is summer and we're approving the policy now, that would be a next step for Kathleen and her team to do. The changes that are presented in the policy are legal changes. They aren't influenced by our, and when I say our, meaning NMUSD preschool team opinion or director. We're really bringing forward those legal components that are requirements of the policy. So if that helps you, at all in terms of your thoughts tonight around why it's in front of you and its importance, it really is just those updates. One of the things I did share with the policy committee is one of the probably, I guess, bigger changes too is just incorporating the immigration language that we as a board, you approved back in the spring. It integrates that language into the new policy as well. So I wanted to share that.
Yeah, from my vantage point, if there's not material elements that have been discussed, like the footnotes and citations, cleaning that up is just the basic work that would have to be done anyway, just to make sure they're all standardized. But given the time constraints, that you want to have a relevant policy on file, and since it was 2012, we're looking at like 14-year difference. I'm not comfortable waiting any longer, but I leave it to the group.
I second that.
To vote. So I'd be willing to waive the second reading and vote on them tonight. But I want to hear from the people that pressed so trustee Anderson and Crane and White. Oh,
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. If we've had it for that long and it's been reviewed, I have heard a lot of concerns from a few, not a lot of. So like that sounded like an overstatement when you were a lot of teachers. I've heard a lot of concerns from a few teachers.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm fine going forward if you absolutely need that. If there are some things that come up, I will instruct them or inform them to please bring those forward. I'm fine approving it tonight. Again, though, I think it's important to approve these individually, not all as a bulk when they're completely diverse topics. Thank you.
And Trustee Crane and Trustee Wygan have their button.
Yeah, it's, Kathleen, have you heard any concerns from your preschool, your staff, that you're aware of, that we need to be aware of?
There's a lot in this board policy, so I'm not sure what parts that they are concerned with.
Is it
So I-
anything material that we, because this is law, right? So, all right, thank you.
I mean, as far as the
Yeah.
immigration, they haven't brought any of that to concern.
Okay. Thank you.
And Trustee Wygan, you also?
Yes, I was just going to say that a lot of these things there, as we think about policies, there's also ARs where some of those concerns can be handled with administrative regulations. And so these are the legal documents that we have to follow. And then maybe some of those concerns that maybe those teachers have can be answered in the ARs as those are developed once the policy is approved. And with that, I'd actually like to approve all 4 of these, have a motion to approve all 4 and waive the second reading.
I second.
So moved by Trustee Wygan and second by Trustee Pearson. Roll call vote?
Trustee Ursulou?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes?
Trustee Wygan?
Yes.
Okay, and with that, we have approved those. And now we move to item 18A, adopt resolution 1726, Newport-Mesa Unified School District authorization of signatures for the Orange County Department of Education.
We are required annually to provide notification to the Orange County Department of Education for who can sign what documents. You have those in front of you tonight.
Great. Any questions or comments, or does anyone want to make a motion to approve?
So moved?
So moved by Trustee Crane,
Second.
second by Trustee Wygan. So roll call vote, Sam?
Trustee Ursulou?
Yes?
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Wygan?
Yes.
All right, and with that, we move to Superintendent informal report.
Yeah, just a couple things tonight. One thing I want to make people aware of, we'll be talking about it a lot throughout the year. It is the 60th anniversary of the Newport-Mesa Unified School District. So on July 1st, 2026, it marked the official 60th anniversary of the Newport-Mesa Unified School District. On July 1st, 1966, the Costa Mesa Union School District, Newport Beach City School District, and the Newport Union High School District unified to form the Newport-Mesa Unified School District. As we celebrate the milestone throughout the 2026-27 school year, we invite you to follow the district's social media channels as well as take a walk down memory lane with historical highlights and activities. It's going to be great fun. You'll see our branding throughout. Wanted to read one more and then say a couple words. But we've received notification that our own Dr. Sarah Jocham will be leaving us, and wanted to let people know that she has served as Assistant Superintendent of Special Services for 10 years in the Newport-Mesa Unified School District. As Assistant Superintendent of Special Services, Dr. Jocham has worked in public education in California for over 30 years. She started very, very young. She began her career as a speech-language pathologist before being promoted to administrative leadership roles in various school districts. Sarah served as a special education local plan area administrator of 3 districts and 1 large multi-district SELPA. In her work at the SELPA state level, she was a co-chair of the Finance Committee and worked closely with the California Department of Education, Special Education Department on special education and fiscal issues. She was appointed to 2 4-year terms on the Advisory Commission on Special Education by the California Board of Education and served on the statewide Special Education Task Force. I wanted to say that all those things are impressive, but what impressed me the most about working with Dr. Jocham was the heart that she brings to the work. She cares passionately for our students, for those serving them. She was a fierce and passionate advocate for their needs. She cried often because she was so passionate. I just, in positions like that, one of the things you need most is someone that cares, and she had that in spades. The district was blessed to have someone with that kind of heart leading this very, very important work. So Sarah, it's been a pleasure for me to work with you, to learn from you. I think the amazing success of your team over the last little bit has been so much fun to watch. You've been presenting at statewide conferences. I got to present with you and see your wall analogy multiple times. And good for you and good for the team. As I always say, we're not going to congratulate you for retiring because that would be disrespectful, but instead I want to thank you for the impact you've made for students here and throughout your career. Thank you very much.
And okay. And now we can move to board member reports so we can continue to embarrass Dr. Jocham. So I just want to follow up with what Superintendent said. All of your professional accolades, you're so wonderful at everything that you do, and now you get to go on to this next phase, whatever it's going to bring. But for me, you've always been one of my favorites here. I guess I can't say my favorite. That's probably one of my favorites. Because the many times I've had to bring my daughter here over the years for various reasons, for a million meetings and back meetings and side meetings, Dr. Jocham's always the first one to get Sabia set up at a desk with snacks and make sure she's all set. So I always know that when you're here, she's going to be in good hands. So I've always been so thankful for that. So thank you for all you do.
I'll probably cry. I think some of you know about myself. And oh my gosh, going through the special ed program in the system in Newport-Mesa is not easy. And it's very emotional. And I just can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for me, for my family, for all of the other families in our district who have been able to experience your graciousness and your empathy and your expertise, your knowledge, and mostly just your understanding and your ability to really be there with someone when they need your help. So, thank you.
Well, I'm crying. I'm definitely going to miss you, but mine is more on a positive note. I work really closely with Sarah because I have a lot of friends with kids with special needs and a very strong group at CDM and in my area. And I want to thank you because you've done so much for all of their children and for the special ed world. So thank you. We're going to miss you.
I would like to also say thank you. I haven't known you as long as everybody else, but you always have a beautiful smiling face every time I'm here, and that's great. You're just a lovely person, and I want you to enjoy your future, whatever it is. Go have fun. So, but thank you. I want to say something else. You guys saw Gavin get up here and speak. He's the president of Newport Harbor High School. And I've had the chance to, he reached out to me, and it was just amazing. And he's such a wonderful, passionate, motivated, smart student. And that is what makes it all worth it for me. And he had a great idea that Dr. Bolton let him do last year. And I'm just super proud of you. Like, keep this passion up, be motivated. I mean, the way you constantly, follow up, and you're a great student, and your mom should be really proud. And so keep it going. I hope we, whatever we end up doing, I know it will be great. So good job. And then I want to also say I'm excited for our new principals, and I'm excited for Dr. Bolton to now be on our team here at the district. So And one more thing is I wanted to thank all the workers and people on our campuses at the summertime right now, working so hard to get everything ready for the school year. So if you're listening out there, I see it happening. I see it, they're not. I see it happening, and I just really appreciate all the time that you put in, and also to the people here, all the time you put in during the summer to just get everything ready for the new year, and Wes, to you too, for all your hard work. So that's it.
I just want to thank you. I think it's really unique to be compassionate and extremely funny, and you bring kindness and joy wherever you go. So I just thank you so much for who you are personally. I'm excited for this new season where you get to rest and enjoy. And I just thank you for everything that you've taught me. Thank you so much. I also wanted to say part of our agenda tonight was also our superintendent evaluation. And in the past, those conversations have been challenging with past boards and administrations. And today was a really positive and productive way forward. It's exciting that this is our 60th year and we are just moving forward. Our data continues to get better. Our teams continue to get better. We're much more aligned for the first time. We have aligned curriculum. There's huge, big improvements happening. And so it was really exciting to also see that and celebrate that and feel really confident going into our school year starting. So thank you so much.
So I had the pleasure of being escorted by Christy Flores and visit some summer school classrooms, visited Lincoln and Wilson. And it was, again, just amazing to see the good work being done by our staff. I wanted to thank Christy Flores, the admin interns, and then the summer school staff that is basically inspiring kids so that there's no lack of like educational gaps when fall begins. So it's really valuable. I love the addition of high school students being peer tutors, I guess, and it was just really nice to see the interaction between the high school students with the summer school students, and they just love and look up to these students who are in high school. And I do hope that we do preserve that. It was a great ad. I also like the fact that we switched from more than one teacher in the morning part of the program to just one streamlined teacher that basically keeps the continuity of the day during that first half. So I love how we've been evolving in our summer school programming. So thank you for all of that. And I did want to quote a high school student at Lincoln Elementary. When I said, hey, are you enjoying doing this? She goes, I love it. And I said, is it nice to get a little bit of a paycheck? She goes, I would do it without the paycheck. Okay, so that right there tells you something, because high school students love their money. And if she's willing to do it for free, like, this shows how much gratification she's getting out of it, not only just the students. So thank you. And of course, lastly, Sarah Jochum, Newport-Mesa has lost one of its biggest angels for our kids, our special needs kids and kids overall. And you do have the biggest heart and passion and know-how for the job. And so we are losing an angel tonight.
Well, I'm going to talk about Sarah later, but I wanted to first mention something that Dr. Sir and Dr. Smith and I did together. We jumped off of the Balboa Pier in honor of Ben Carlson, a lifeguard that passed away, but it raises funds for our students for our swim program. This Ben Carlson Foundation, as you guys all know, raises funds, and they use those for our swim program, whether it's swimsuits or any kind of thing that we need for that program. And I was so excited that Dr. Smith would do it with me. And then my husband graciously donates money for this jump. And he goes, well, what about that one guy you work with that surfs the wedge? Do you think he'd want to do it? And I was like, yeah. So we asked Dr. Sir, and then, we get up there and I go, so have you ever jumped off the pier? And he goes, well, not legally. So He was very excited to do it. We all did it great. We all made it back to shore. It was a nice 70 degrees in the ocean. So it was great, but it was great to do that. But it's great to show the community support. And I think Dr. Smith said something like, it just shows that when, the communities and the schools get together, and I was like, the schools are the community, the families, the schools, they make up the community. We are part of it, and we are that. So I was just so happy to experience that with you guys, and that foundation does great work for our schools, and I love that, our swim program. And then I want to talk about Dr. Jocham. I first saw you through a Zoom screen in 2020, and you were point for what our classrooms are going to look like when we go back to COVID or after COVID. And I'm laughing now because, things that we've learned have been a little silly. Like, you're like, okay, so now this is what we're going to do. And you had this white screen behind you, and you're like, okay, so then we're going to do this, and then we have to stand 6 feet apart, then we have to do this, then we can't cough, but don't cough, but then cough, and then have glass around you, and then do this. We're going to get plexiglass, we're going to do this. And it was just like, oh my God. And I was like, who is this woman? And so I remember seeing that, and I was like, dear God, school's going to look different. And then I got on the board. That was me just like zooming in, seeing how everyone is going. And then I got on the board and just got to see your passion for kids, your passion for the work that you do, and seeing you present at the CSBA this past year. It was remarkable. We had so many people stood up and said this was, the best program lecture that they've listened to. And it's really about how to continue on good work and not wait for something to fail, but continue to do that work and look back and make tweaks and move forward. And I'm so impressed. That's something that I think we can all look back or do in our lives where we go, well, we're kind of okay, but we could always be better. And I love that you kind of inspired that for me to think differently about that. But you're a complete angel for our district. I mean, I just think the world of you. And I remember personally when my kids were tackling each other at like a football game, you just kept talking to them. I was like, well, they're awful, but thank you. But you've done some tremendous work. And I think you should be really, really proud of what you've done in your career. And the next phase of your life is going to be probably even more important. So thank you for being part of our lives. Thank you.
Great. And with that, again, congratulations, Dr. Jocham, and we are finished at 7:29. Adjourned.